I find this fascinating. Fun fact, did you know that it costs 5 times more to acquire a new customer than it does to retain an old one? I find that fascinating. I'll say that again. It costs 5 times more to acquire a new customer than it does to retain an old one. And existing customers are likely to spend 31% more than new customers. Let's welcome Sue Azari. She's the industry lead e-commerce at Appsflyer, where she advises and consults with e-commerce businesses across Europe, the Middle East, and Africa, and Latin America on their app strategies. Sue has 10 years experience working with e-commerce, having worked at The Very Group and Mr. Porter, leading on app growth strategy. She's here to talk about building the emotional connection, how to keep app users engaged in today's busy world. Please give a warm welcome to Sue.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you for that nice introduction. Brett's given away some of my, well, he's stolen a bit of my thunder, some of my facts already, so.
Sorry. They put it in the script, I'm sorry.
It's all right, you did a great job. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone. I'm so glad to be here. It's actually my first time in Dubai, so I'm from the UK, so I'm so excited to be here. As Brett said, I'm the industry lead for e-commerce at Appsflyer. I've worked in e-commerce for nearly 10 years, and I spent the last few years helping e-commerce businesses grow their apps. I actually used to be a client of Appsflyer, and I love the business so much that they've convinced me to come and work for them. And today I'm going to talk about how to keep app users engaged in today's busy world and the importance of customer loyalty. So customer engagement is so crucial to every company, regardless of the industry that you're in. A survey conducted by a conversion rate optimization business called Invest, whose clients include the likes of eBay and Target, found that increasing customer retention by just 5%, as Brett did a great job of saying, can increase your profits by 25 to 95%. And in addition to that, it costs 5 times more to acquire a new customer than it does to retain an existing one. And I think this just helps demonstrate the importance of retaining customers and focusing on loyalty in order to grow your business at a more profitable level. However, despite this, so many businesses still make the mistake of focusing solely on user acquisition and take their existing customers for granted. I'm sure you've seen yourself as an end user, countless promotions targeted at new customers, such as 10% off on your first order, which can be quite frustrating if you're an existing loyal customer and you can't actually redeem that offer. And focusing on driving new customers also comes with complications. So according to multiple studies, an average mobile app user has more than 100 apps on their phone, so particularly for iOS users. So that means that you're still competing for attention even after users installed your app on their device. So you literally have a matter of seconds to keep somebody engaged before they receive a notification from WhatsApp, a work email, a notification from a social media app. And attention spans are also shorter than ever, and I know that mine definitely is these days. So through the data that we have from our customer base, so we know that more than 53% of apps are uninstalled within 30 days of download. And over 80% of users stop using the app within the first 3 months. However, those users that do stay engaged with your app produce 3.5 times more revenue than non-engaged shoppers, and are 3 times more likely to make a repeat purchase. So that's why it's so important for marketers and app developers to focus on engaging and retaining the users who've downloaded the app and are looking to use your services or buy your products. So now that we've set the scene on the benefits of customer retention for the growth of your business and app, I want to chat in more detail about why engagement is so important, the key strategies on how to better connect with your customers, and also finally taking a look at what data can give you an indication of better customer experiences. And in case you don't know Appsflyer, I'll give you a bit of an overview. So I'm sure everyone's hungry and maybe doesn't feel that energized right now, but can I just get hands up from anybody who has heard of Appsflyer? I have a feeling there might be a few hands. Oh, okay, nice, more than I thought. Okay, great. For anybody that doesn't know, we're a mobile measurement partner. In fact, we're the market leader in this space, working with around 65% of the world's mobile app players. And if you're thinking, what on earth is a mobile measurement partner? So in short, we help you grow your app and attribute and measure your app marketing performance. I always say if you have an app, you need a mobile measurement partner. And in my role, I get the amazing opportunity to speak with so many amazing businesses across Europe, Middle East, and Latin America to learn about what's working for them and also the challenges that they're facing. And some of our customers include Adidas, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Wish, Walmart, just to name a few. So of course, customer engagement is important. We've established that, but how can you do this successfully? So first and most importantly, which you've seen from the previous keynote speaker, using personalization within your strategy is so key. 91% of customers are more likely to engage with brands that send personalized offers and recommendations. And I've seen similar stats over the past few days from some of the great talks here at Vibe Tech. And gone are the days you could just assume that your customers might have wanted from your business or that they'd be excited to hear from you. Now it's all about leveraging what you know about them and using it to give them what they want when they want it, rather than sending them generic marketing messaging. It's relevant and personalized content that will strengthen your relationship with your customers and boost your customer engagement, which ultimately leads to better loyalty and retention. So remember that stat I mentioned earlier, that those users who do stay engaged with your app produce 3.5 times more revenue than non-engaged users. So United Airlines is an example of some great customer engagement. So every few months they roll out stealth promotions. So these are targeted offers that allow travelers to earn extra miles for completing a certain number of actions or requirements. And the promotions are targeted and will generally fit their customers' travel patterns. So they'll look at data from customers' previous flight history, for instance. So a non-frequent flyer who only has flown short-haul flights could be presented with an offer to book one long-haul flight at a higher price point with United and receive 1,000 points, whereas a premier flyer might be presented with an offer to receive 5,000 points if they book 2 trips. In this scenario, the business has understood, based on the user data, that a one-time flyer would be unlikely to book 2 trips, and that the premier flyer offer wouldn't have been relevant to them. And the next step from personalization, which are my favorite topics, is to look at introducing a loyalty scheme or program for your brand. And this has proven to be one of the most effective tactics for inspiring customer engagement and loyalty, and also for increasing revenue. And the key to a successful mobile app loyalty scheme is twofold. So firstly, you need to make it easy to use. So what are the benefits? If it's complicated, your customers won't buy into it, and it won't be an effective strategy. Secondly, you need to make sure that the offers and the content you deliver are tailored to the user and not flood them with information that isn't relevant to them. So again, that personalized data is coming into play here. Sephora's Beauty Insider program is one of the most well-known and effective programs for this. And according to Bridget Dolan, who's the VP of Interactive Media at Sephora, 80% of all their transactions today come through their Beauty Insiders program users. And the scheme offers different tiers based on how much customers spend, with different tier rewards, giving them a reason to keep buying from Sephora, and it differentiates Sephora from the competition. It also, most importantly, makes customers feel special and engages them by sending birthday promotions, personalized product recommendations, sampling, while also encouraging repeat visits to the app, keeping users engaged, and allowing Sephora to keep getting insights on the user behavior for further personalization, which is key for in-store users as well. It's quite difficult sometimes to be able to actually match back in-store usage to online via app and web. Having a reward scheme where they capture all that transaction data helps stitch all of those channels together. And there are a variety of ways to communicate with your audience via mobile, and keeping them engaged means understanding which channels they're most likely to interact with. However, it's always most effective to use a combination of channels. So one in particular via apps is push notifications, of course, and they're a great direct engagement channel to keep your customers updated and engaged, and to help keep your brand at the forefront of their mind. It's really important to send messages that add value, that you focus on automated push notifications that are triggered based on specific actions or behaviors in the app. So some of the highest retention-based push notifications I've seen are those like abandoned basket, wish list notifications, onboarding notifications. And they're a great channel for time-specific updates, such as a sale launch or for order delivery updates. Apps also offer the additional channel of in-app messages, and these are brilliant for creating an engaging and informative onboarding experience when a user first installs your app, and to guide them through your app experience, as well as encouraging them to take actions such as registering or opting in for push notifications. And geolocation messaging can further enrich your consumer experience, and this allows you to deliver relevant content to the user based on their location, which is really beneficial for retailers or restaurants in particular, as you can notify the customer of a discount or a new dish when they're near your branch. And a good example of multi-channel messaging would be from one of our customers, Ticketmaster. So in order to deliver relevant and timely offers to engage their audience, they utilized a combination of geo-targeting and user purchase behavior. And by determining what types of events people like attending and at which venues, Ticketmaster can then segment its push notifications and in-app messages and send offers or events that feel more personalized to that audience, resulting in higher conversion rates and better engagement. And it's really key that regardless of the marketing channels that you're using, that you're always offering seamless user journeys without broken links or too many clicks to your user to get to the right location in your app. So particularly as 94% of consumers purchase again from a company with a strong customer experience versus 20% with a very poor customer experience. And this is where deep linking has a real direct impact on improving user engagement and experience. So for anyone who doesn't know what deep linking is, essentially it's a mechanism of sending users either directly to the chosen in-app content if they already have the app installed. So if you send me an email showing me a pair of shoes, if I click on that and I have the app, ensure that I go to that page directly within the app. Or there's also deferred deep linking. So if I see an email for a pair of shoes and it then directs me to the App Store, immediately after installing, I'm then shown the correct page rather than having to navigate to find that shoe myself. And it's one of the best ways of delivering contextual, personal, and smooth user journeys within your app. And in the case of Pizza Hut, so they wanted to engage more customers to join their app because their app customers order significantly more than their non-app customers. So they tried running digital campaigns to push more customers to the app. But actually, those campaigns were found not to be effective at migrating customers who typically order over the phone or in-store. So to reach and engage these offline customers, the Pizza Hut team wanted to pilot an offline marketing campaign driving to app. So they put coupons and QR codes on in-store displays, direct mailers, and also, which were quite smart, on the pizza boxes themselves, and that they could only be redeemed by using a deep linking QR code, and those links automatically routed users to the correct app store and applied the coupon on first app open, and they saw a lot of success off the back of this. And all these strategies are really great for existing mobile customers, but if you're thinking about your existing web customers, if you have a website, web to app is really key. So how can you move them over to the app to increase their loyalty and engagement if you know that they're purchasing from you via web? So deploying tactical web to app marketing can help you convert those users into loyal app users by using things like smart banners on your mobile site. And targeted web messaging gives you the opportunity to let your web customers know that your app is just a click away and offer them some sort of a benefit or clear value to installing. One example of a retailer who does this really well in the UK is a luxury department store called Selfridges. So they promote app install messaging in their order confirmation emails because they know that a customer is still warm to the brand. And what they do is that they promote that users should download the app and opt in for push notifications in order to receive real-time order delivery updates. So it's adding value again to the user that also isn't a promotion. But the most ideal strategy is one that drives both new users and retention, and iOS widgets are a really innovative way of achieving this. So again, for anybody who might not know what an iOS widget is, they're a way of getting timely information from your favorite apps on your iOS home screen. So they're almost like a mini version of your app that updates and presents information in real time without a user having to go into the app itself. And some of the most common ones that you might have seen are those from weather or calendar apps. However, they're really great strategy for other businesses to utilize. A few reasons for that. So Apple are leaning into the growing usage of home screen widgets. So in their latest developer keynote, they announced that widgets will also be available on the lock screen from the iOS 16 release. And TechCrunch also published an article with quite a catchy headline, which is that the next big social platform is the smartphone's home screen. And this was based on some amazing results from the social media app BeReal, which I feel way too old for. But they launched a widget earlier this year, which displays reactions and friends' photos and a live updating widget on the home screen. And since the launch of this, BeReal has grown its monthly active users plus 315% year to date, and 65% of their lifetime downloads have occurred this year, and they believe that the iOS widget has played a big role in this. And from an e-commerce perspective, Mr. Porter and Net-a-Porter, a luxury e-com brand, also have an iOS widget. So there's an example of that here, and that displays their new in collection on the user's home screen every time a new drop arrives. And another interesting retention tactic that I'm seeing within e-commerce is live shopping. Absolutely huge in China, starting to make its way into the US. Other markets are sort of starting to trial it out. And McKinsey's reported that live commerce initiated sales could account for 10 to 20% of all e-commerce by 2026. It's a really interesting concept because it engages users, it creates a sense of urgency which brings users back, and it collapses the funnel from awareness to purchase. So one of our clients, Farfetch, who are another luxury e-commerce retailer, they've launched their own interactive live video shopping feature, which is available within their app, and it streams to customers across 190 countries. And it's estimated that 20% of viewers of their live streams add items to their cart and 15% engage in the live chat. So again, it's a really interesting way of also differentiating themselves from the competition whilst keeping users engaged in between those purchase cycles. And all these strategies are great, but they don't mean a lot unless you can measure them and understand actually how engaged your customers are. So here are a few metrics that we always suggest keeping track of. So one is return on experience. This might be a new metric for some people as a success metric, but it's a way of measuring the business impact of customer experience. So you measure this through an assessment of the various ways that your users interact with your brand, and ultimately how do those interactions drive revenue. So an example of an equation of this that I've seen could be like the net value of improvements to the customer experience divided by the cost of investment to that experience. And the repeat purchase rate is a simple yet effective metric that can provide powerful insight into customer engagement. So it represents the number of customers who return after the first purchase. Retention rate, one of the more important, probably obvious metrics for businesses. So it reflects the percentage of customers who've remained loyal over a specific period. And it measures your ability to attract new loyal customers as well as keeping existing ones. And we see that the average customer retention rate within e-commerce, it usually falls below 20%. And customer lifetime value, so this helps understand the total revenue attributed to a single customer across the lifetime that they'll shop with you, which means that it factors in future purchases. It also helps inform your ad spend in terms of actually what your target CPI or CPA might be based on what you think your projected LTV might be by customer. So it might be one of the more important ways to help measure customer engagement for your business. And then the customer loyalty index, so it's a standardized tool that's used to measure customer loyalty and engagement over time. It takes into consideration things like net promoter score, upselling, repurchasing, and it addresses how likely are you as a customer to recommend us to your friends and family? Is it likely that you're going to buy from us again in the future? And how likely are you to try out other products? So it helps predict future retention rates, helps you build loyalty. It also, most importantly, gives you key insights into any pain points there might be in the customer experience. But of course, this is by no means an exhaustive list, but it's a great start for measuring the success of your customer engagement strategies. And then finally, just end with a bit of inspiration. So Spotify's Wrapped, which I'm sure everyone's seen, it's a great example of a brand differentiating itself in the eye of the consumer with a really elegant use of data to engage that user base. So by reflecting the listener's own habits back at them, Spotify's announcing that, yes, we hold your data, but we're using it in fun and interesting ways. And this goes one step further with their made-for-you sections, Discover Weekly, and these personalized playlists encourage users to broaden their listening specifically based on their own taste and help build a sense of trust, familiarity, and engagement with an offering that other music streaming services don't really offer. And that's it from me. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you'll have a wonderful lunch. I'm not sure if we've got time for questions.
Well, it does say time's up, but you were so nice. I will allow for a question. Since you asked, if anyone does have a question for Sue, there is one in the back. This is the one question you get.
Yeah, he's excited to put his hand up.
This is it.
Hi.
Hi. Sorry.
Hi. So just wanted to quickly check on the attribution part. From a perspective of iOS 14++, we would have all seen that, ask apps not to track is one of the things that we're seeing in Apple. GID and IFID being changed frequently by Google.
Yeah.
How do you attribute these customers? How would you attribute wherein you don't have a cookie?
Yeah.
And how does Appsflyer attribute these customers when you're not able to track these customers once they have installed the app?
Yeah, it's a really good question. It's a big pain point for so many businesses with apps today. So there's two things on the ATT prompt. First of all, I think the industry thought initially that the opt-in rates would be low, but we see on average it's around 42%. So I'd say for most businesses, start with actually increasing that pool of users that you can track and actually optimize that ATT opt-in by showing custom messaging and give your user a reason to opt in and share that data. Second of all, in terms of how we do that, so there's lots of different ways that we do this. So we have a feature called Single Source of Truth. We have an SK ad network solution, and we use some predictive modeling and also using some of the Apple data that we are able to track to help stitch that back to Appsflyer ID, so then give us as close to accurate view as possible as to who that user is and what they've done. But I can definitely send you more information. I'm at booth 5 if you want to come over, and I can definitely have a chat with you.
And we do have a second for one more question, I do believe.
Okay.
Hi, how are you? Here, this one. Okay, so you were talking about iOS widget. That looks very amazing in terms of when I see the products being featured, and it can also increase engagement. So the question is, how can you effectively move your loyal customers towards that, to a behavior that they will actually opt in to put a widget on their smartphones for, let's say, e-commerce brand?
Yeah, good question. It's something that I haven't seen many brands do today. I think the biggest way that you can do that is through your onboarding process and also within your App Store creatives and through potentially your app marketing as well to actually shout about that as an added feature of your app. Some apps have widgets, but they don't actually promote it unless you go around and look yourself at actually what widgets are available. So you're totally right. It's actually, I think it's about how you communicate it because I think it's still very new as a concept. So I'd say onboarding app stores and any app marketing messaging. And when you're talking through the USPs of your app, make sure you always call out the widget as being one of those USPs. I hope that answered the question. Yeah.
There you go. One more time for Sue Azari. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You know you had a great presentation when people are willing to ask questions right before lunch. So thank you. That was very good.
I appreciate it. Thank you.